If you've watched my latest video, you know that I'm on a fashion design era. Drawing clothes is something I've never been too good at. I've always put more focus into developing my skills in different styles and doing my best to learn figure drawing and anatomy, plus some cartoon exaggeration techniques. Nevertheless, designing clothes is something that has always been in the back of my mind, and I've been learning and practicing. Trying to be very practical about what I learned has been important, so I thought, why not applying this newly found passion to something I was previously passionate about already? Undertale is not a game known for great graphics, and honestly, given its unbelievably huge fandom, I don't think that's ever been a selling point. And plus, the game has its charm, even if most graphics look like this. The character designs, on the other hand, is pretty unique and very charming. They are captivating not only due to their personalities, but also because of their overall designs. Toby Fox did a great job in this game as a whole, and character designing and character development were not skills that he's lackluster. The guy is talented as hell. So I gave myself a little challenge. What if I did my best to recreate some of these characters' clothing? Bear in mind, I didn't want to use them as dummies to put random clothes on them. I wanted to design clothing specially for them, taking in consideration their personality and role in the game's lore, as well as their original palette and overall feel. I've also designed these clothes thinking of a winter scenario, something cozy for a snowy December maybe. So hold my hand and let's see together how this all turned out to be. But before we continue, as some of you might know, I have my own clothing store. As of now, I have very few products, but more designs for the Gummy collection are coming real soon. So if you're interested, the link to the Printify store is in this video's description. Soon I will also work on an official site too. If you want to get some news on it through the next few weeks, consider subscribing to my newsletter. It too is on the video's description. Thanks. Now, back to the video. Now, before anything else, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken about any of these characters or about the game as a whole. It's been quite some time since I last played it, but as far as I can remember, Frisk's gender has always been something ambiguous, and it feels like this was made on purpose. Although most fan art I've seen online tends to depict Frisk as a girl or as a girly figure, I don't think this makes any difference to the game's lore. And honestly, this posed my very first challenge, which was to try and design an outfit that looked a bit more neutral. Frisk's design is very androgynous, so I tried to be very selective with my references. The final result, as you will see very soon, is still relatively feminine, but I've had in mind a more neutral outfit the whole time, and you can see that in my pattern choices. But this hasn't refrained me from putting in some jewelry here and there. I feel like this is a more neutral design as well. Frisk's palette is very saturated. We got a very bright blue contrasting with a flashy pink, and I ended up deciding on black overalls, so it would have a dark tone underneath the colorful details. That way, I can make each colorful part of the outfit stand out better. But I've also wanted the design to feel more spacious and not overwhelm the viewer, since I was already putting in some jewelry to complement it. So I decided on silk pants, and I've tried to give off its feel in the drawing with a flat black color with a slight gradient on top of it, plus a colored line work to mark its folds. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really know how to draw shoes, but from now on, me and you will both forget this and pretend my shoes design ability is a 100. This is the final result, and right off the bat, I think it was one of the most challenging ones I had to work on for this video. Look, I love Papyrus, and you too, everybody does. And if you've killed him while not doing the genocide route, I don't trust you at all. Matter of fact, leave please, you monster. I wanted to give myself a little more trouble because I'm a masochist, a side quest challenge if you will, which was trying to design a more serious in tone outfit for Papyrus, which I knew would be rather challenging if I didn't want to dim his personality. The two main ways I went about maintaining his original feel, even with a more serious in tone wear, were the pose choice and the color picking. For the pose, I took something dynamic as a reference, since his character is all based on flow. His cape in his original design and the scarf in my take are examples and proof of this. As for the palette, I wanted to maintain the original proportions for the color usage in his design, which means white and red as the two main colors, black as the somewhat complementary color, and blue and yellow for the details. I was still not 100% sure on how to distribute them even when I started coloring them, but then it hit me. The belt would be the perfect place to use blue and yellow. In this way, I could tone down these colors just enough so they wouldn't make the outfit too informal, but also present enough to make them stand out a bit. And by present enough, I mean right in the middle of the freaking character. Maintaining his silhouette was also an important part of this clothing design. I didn't really think exactly of what fabric his blouse is, but it must be something like lyocell so it doesn't wrinkle. I mean, this one is folding a lot since it's meant to be used with a belt on a very slim waist, if we can call that a waist. That's the final result. He looks like he's ready for, I don't know, a charming date and could still make you laugh, probably. Sans is one of my favorite characters, not just from Undertale, but favorite characters period. And honestly, I was afraid to change too much of his clothing because of that. It felt like anything different from what he uses could look a bit too excessive, so I did my best to work around this with the outfit he already has. Honestly, all that I did was change details of each piece of clothing and changing his slippers to shoes, but still maintaining the original palette though. Because honestly, using sandals to walk on a snowy land might be quite difficult. I've chosen to make his jacket a fur fleece one. It is not as much for the temperature control factor, since Sans doesn't have flesh, so he doesn't feel cold, probably, but more for an aesthetic look. And since he seems to be able to seamlessly transcend time and space, using this jacket in other places won't be a problem. He doesn't sweat at all. Long socks are difficult to work around with, at least in my opinion. It feels difficult for me to balance them with other pieces of clothing. I feel like it tends to work better on taller models, and Sans is not that. He's super short, but I feel like the square shorts help to balance them socks, so we're probably fine. One thing that I still have to study a lot more and put more attention to is understanding better the use of shapes in fashion design. All I was trying to remember while designing this one was Thom Browne. There's this video by Vogue showing Thom Browne's process making a collection from sketch to dress, and at a certain point, while creating the designs right in the beginning, he uses the three primary shapes, square, circle, and triangle, to balance the design out, and it's a fascinating process. Although I didn't use this process specifically in my design, I tried to think of these concepts while drawing Sans here, so the square shorts not only balance well the long socks, but also the whole design, since Sans is built up on lots of round shapes, and that's how Sans turned out in the end. Still casual, but fancy nonetheless. Toriel. She's a mother. She's kind and caring. She treats you like her own child. She would bake you cookies every other day if you let her. Her original design seems to complement her caring and innocent-looking personality with an outfit that covers pretty much her whole body. Not a lot of skin can be seen. Not a lot of fur. I wanted to maintain this trope as it seems like this is an important design choice, but as I did with Frisk and Papyrus, I wanted to put myself just a little on the edge of challenge, just so I don't get stationary. I decided on a translucent, fine cotton fabric for the sleeves. It doesn't feel too out of place though, as the fabric is tinted in gradient from white to purple just as it gets near the shoulders. To balance this element, I chose on a very tight and completely buttoned piece for her bust, with some extra white cloth for some neck protection against the cold. Of course, I couldn't forget about the symbol in her outfit. It's still there, only in asymmetric fashion, the way I like it. Her pants are a double layer one. It's a very thick piece of clothing, and as so, it doesn't really allow you for a lot of movement. It's not very stretchy. And it shouldn't be, because I don't see Toriel running to nowhere anytime soon. She's chill. As for the shoes, a flat base one works well only with purple shoelaces because it catches your eyes really well. And yeah, I think that's all we have for today, and thanks for... Alright, look, you might take this as a joke, which honestly, it kinda is, and I was supposed to end this design batch on Toriel, but I thought to myself, why not drawing just one more, just so we have, I don't know, 5 characters, 4 since this too little. And from all characters from this cast, from everyone I could choose to draw something for, from Metaton to Spantom, there's some folks who could get a nice piece of clothing and I feel like I could be very creative with it. And then I decided to draw something for Flowey. Honestly, one of the skills of an artist should be the capacity to work with unexpected and unusual situations. And drawing a piece of clothing for a flower really is something unusual. And when I say a piece of clothing, that's literally it. One piece. One piece? Flowey obviously doesn't have a body, and the only thing that resembles any body parts are their base as the head and their stem as a neck. First I thought of the stem as a torso, but then there's not even nodes on this little fella, so that wouldn't work. So as a neck, a scarf would go well. It was the only option I could really think of, honestly. But yeah, I think it works well. Now, I'm not versed in the art of pottery, so searching about heat-resistant materials and getting some inspiration from Pinterest pictures is all I could do for the vase. But for the scarf, I really thought of a pattern that would not mess around with Flowey's design. So I picked the heart shape and drew it in a way that resembled flowered leaves, so it would match well with its all-green color. Lots of little blue dots help to complement the design. I really feel like I should tone down the use of dots on clothing, as it might spoil it all, honestly. But it's so discreet in this one, you don't even notice it if you're not paying too much attention to it, so if it works, it works. And for the 5th and last design for this video, there you are. And that's Flowey. Working on these pieces was a blast. It really helped me reconnect with a game that I really love, but don't think a lot about anymore. It also helped me practice my fashion design skills, which I admit are not that good yet, but I'll keep studying and drawing so I can improve and bring you more content like this. I put a lot of effort and love into this, so if you like it, help your homie out and drop me a like and a comment. And if you would like to see more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, be my guest. These drawings are all being posted to my social media as well, so if you use Twitter or Instagram, I'm there too. And finally, thank you so much for sticking by. This means the world to me, and I hope to see you around next time. Peace.